All right, for the warm up, we're going to do this real quick, so make sure you're writing this down. It says we have a cube. Okay, so I want you to imagine a cube with side lengths of 10 inches. So 10, 10, cube, all the sides are 10, legit. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, everywhere. Okay, so if I want to find the lateral and total surface area, I need pH and I need B. So P, the perimeter of the base, with 10, 10, 10, and 10. Okay, if I'm adding up those four tens, it's either 10 times 4 or 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, and that gives me 40. The height, obviously up and down, is 10. And the big B, area of a square, remember it's length times width, which is 10 times 10, which is 100. Cool. So all I got to do for the LSA, pH is going to equal P, which is 40, times H, which is 10. 40 times 10 is 400 inches squared. Total surface area is going to be pH plus 2 big B. We know the pH is 400. So 400 plus 2 times big B, which is 100. 2 times 100 is 200. 400 plus 200 is 600 inches squared. Right now, make sure you have your name on your warm-up. Make sure you have this warm-up done. You should have 5 warm-ups. You put absent on any days you were absent. Pass it to the front and turn it in. You need to wrap that up real quick, okay? Because we got to move on to the notes today. We are doing surface area of pyramids and cones. My bad on the objective. Pyramids and cones is what it should say at the top. Cool. Don't forget about virtual online tutoring. That's how you can get hours and help. I'll probably be on tonight, 8 to 10 p.m., but you got to text me at that Google Voice number. So anyways, as everybody put their name on their warm-up, pass it to the front, people at the front turn it in, or you can just go turn it in real quick to the turn-in bin because we are doing new notes now. Everyone should have the papers you grabbed on the way in, and here we go. Let's talk about this. All right, so it says cones, lateral surface area. Just like last time, we're going to have lateral and we're going to have total surface area formulas, okay? Now, first thing we need to do is off to the right here. So is everyone looking? Some of us are looking at phones. It looks like a very interesting movie. We should probably turn that off, right? Thank you. Right? Right? All right. Everyone paying attention? So again, this right here is like a cursive looking L. That's how I would draw it, okay? Cursive L, what do you think L stands for? Now you would think it would be length, right? Kind of, okay? It's not really length. You could call it the slant length or the slant height is what we're going to actually call it, okay? The slant height. So what's the weirdest thing about that is that the L is not the first letter, it's the second letter, okay? Slant. Slant. Make sure you write that down in the top right box. Okay, so again, cursive looking L is not length, it is slant height. What do you think R stands for? As usual, R does stand for radius. So go ahead and write that in. So radius, let's write that down. R stands for the radius of the base. Because remember, if this is a cone, the base is a circle. So it has a radius, right? Does everyone know the difference between a radius and a diameter? Okay?
All right, so R stands for radius, and just as a side note, that's half of the diameter, right? So let's write down these formulas, okay? I lost my paper. Oh well. So lateral surface area of a cone is pi r L. Pi r L. Okay? So all you got to do is go to the calculator, do pi times the radius times the L. What does L stand for again? Slant height. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you what that looks like, but you got to know slant height is slanty. It's not straight up and down. Otherwise, that would just be height, right? So slant height is on the slant. And we're not going to be distracted, right? Look at that. All right, so that's lateral surface area. And then what about total surface area? Okay, so kind of like last time, we're going to start with the same thing, pi r L, but we're going to add something, pi r squared. Pi r L plus pi r squared for total surface area. Okay, so everyone's got lateral and total written down. And let's do these examples, okay? Now, what two things do I need for both of these formulas? I need an R and I need an L, okay? So, looking at example 1, what is R? From the center to the edge, it's right there, right? 13. Now, L, slant height. The slant height is not always labeled, but in this one, it is labeled. I want everyone to hear me. The slant height is on the slant. Okay? It's not straight up and down. Okay? It's on this slanty part. It can be here or it can be here. They're both the same, right? But over here, this slant is what? 30. Okay? A lot of people mess these up because they get confused with height and slant height. H is different than L, right? So if it's on the diagonal, on the slant, that's L, slant height, okay? So now that I got R and L, this will be easy. I'm just going to do pi r L, and I'm going to do pi r L plus pi r squared, okay? And that's way down there. Okay, there we go. I'll just move it down here. So for lateral surface area, pi r L is pi times 13 times 30. Now I can go into my calculator and multiply that. Pi button down at the bottom left times 13 times 30, right? And I get 1,225.22. Let's write that down. And it would be units squared, okay, whatever the units are. And then for total surface area, pi r L plus pi r squared. Now, don't we already know what pi r L is? We just did that. 1225.22. And we're going to add pi r is 13 squared. Okay? Now you don't have to use parentheses when you multiply it. You can just type it in. Okay? But we're going to go to our calculator and do the pi r L plus pi 13 squared. So I'm going to take that plus pi times 13 squared. And I get 1,756.15. 1756.15 units squared. Okay? Now, was that hard once you know R and L? Just type it in the formula, get your answer, right? The hard part is when you don't know R or you don't know L. Okay? Now, example 2, it's not that different, but notice we don't know R yet, but you could have already figured it out, right? Does everyone see 16 is all the way across here? So when I'm trying to find the radius, right, the radius is not 16, right? What is the radius? Half of that, right? So 8. Everyone write this down? So the radius is actually 8. Now, you tell me, is 23.4 on the slant? Yes. So we actually do know the slant height. It's 23.4, okay? Because there it is on the slanty. So let's type this in. Pi times 8 times 23.4. Okay? Pi times 8 times 23.4. Type it in, get your answer. We're going to round 2 decimal places. So 588.11. 588.11. Units squared. And then we're going to do pi RL. Same thing. Plus pi r squared. We already know this one over here, so we just got to do plus pi 8 squared, right? Just like last time. So take that, plus pi 8 squared, 789.17. Units squared, okay? Are you catching what I'm throwing at you? If you know R, if you know L, this is just typing and getting an answer, right? Sometimes they're going to give you the diameter, so please be careful. Cut that in half. Remember, if you had gotten R wrong, you would have gotten everything wrong. So please be careful when you're doing these, okay? Is everyone good on example 1 and 2? Now, we're not done with this page. If you didn't notice, at the very bottom, there's another little one we snuck in there. So let's look at the bottom, okay? Is everyone doing their test? From yesterday, the quiz, 2 days ago, actually. All right, here we go. Let's think about this one, okay? I need to find the lateral surface area of a cone. Now, Mr. G done told me LSA equals pi RL, right? Now, do I know R? It says it right there. It's 3. Do I know L? Who thinks L is 4? Okay, so L is not 4. Most people who get this wrong are going to think L is 4, right? But do you notice how on the slant of the slant height, it says S equals question mark, right? It's missing. Take a wild guess how we're going to figure it out with a right triangle missing a side. Pythagorean theorem. It haunts us every day, like Friday the 13th does, right? So we are still going to use Pythagorean theorem throughout the year. So off to the side, let's do some Pythagorean theorem. So I got a right triangle. I got a squared, b squared, c squared, right? So a and b are my legs, 3 and 4. Now we've done this before. This is a Pythagorean triple, so hopefully you know by now what the hypotenuse is going to be, okay, because this is a 3, 4, 5 Pythagorean triple. But just in case you're stumped, okay, this is how we do Pythagorean theorem. 3 squared plus 4 squared. So 9 plus 16 is what? 25. And then how do I get rid of the square? Square root. Square root of 25 we know is 5. So FYI, if you're ever doing this Pythagorean triples, when it's 3 and 4 of a right triangle, the hypotenuse will be 5. It's a given. 3, 4, 5. So now I know L is 5. I'm not done. Now I have all that I need. I got R. I got L. Let's do this. Pi RL. Pi times 3 times 5. That's an easy type in the calculator. Pi times 3 times 5 is 47.12. And then total surface area, pi RL plus pi R squared. So we know that's 47.12 plus pi 3 squared. Okay. So let's do that. We're just going to add pi 3 squared. No, wait, what happened here? Let's back up. 47.12 plus pi 3 squared. Pi 3 squared. There we go. Okay, 75.39. And both of those would be units squared, and in this case they are units, meters squared, meters squared. I'll give you a second to write that down. Does everyone see what you do? When you're missing the slant height, you've used the height and the radius to use Pythagorean theorem to find the missing slant height. Okay? So that's it for cones. If you want to flip it over, if you're ready, flip it over. Let's talk about pyramids. Okay? Pyramids. All right, I'm turning it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, pyramids. All right, off to the right. Guess what big P stands for? We've talked about this before. Perimeter of what? The base, the bottom, right? Unless it's upside down, right? So everyone's looking up here, not at phones. All right, so again, P stands for perimeter of the base. Perimeter of the base. Okay. Now this is that cursive L, right? What does that stand for? Same thing as the front. Slant height. Slant height. All right, no, but slant height. On the diagonal, on the slant. And remember, the one, the only, the one that gets most missed. Big B, capital B. What does it stand for? Area of the base, right? You can call it base area if you want, but we like to put area of the base, and we're writing this down, right? Cool. So, we need these formulas. So, for a pyramid, lateral surface area is 1/2 PL, or if you want to make it into a fraction, it's just PL divided by 2. However you like to write it, okay? So it's either 1/2 perimeter of the base times the slant height, or perimeter of the base times the slant height divided by 2. Total surface area, kind of like before, we're going to keep what we had before. We'll have that PL over 2 plus 1 big B. This should make sense. How many bases are on a pyramid? 1. So there's only 1 B that you're adding. But on a prism, there was 2 B's you were adding, right? All right, so we got our formulas for total and lateral. So let's try an example here. Okay, we'll try one without Pythagorean theorem, but we do got to try one with, because you might run into that. All right, I'll rewrite the formulas down here. So, square pyramid. Sorry, these, do this for me. Sorry. Okay, I switched the pictures and I didn't switch the titles. So, on the left, example 3 is obviously a triangular pyramid, right? And on the right, that's a square pyramid. So looking at the left, okay, so we want to find this triangular pyramid's lateral surface area. So LSA equals PL over 2. Now, let's figure out these numbers. P, what's the perimeter of the base? This is 10, this is 10, and this is 10. What's the perimeter? Straight up 30, right? Now, slant height. The slant height goes through the middle of the face on the side of the pyramid. So do we have the slant height on this pyramid? What do you think? We do. And in blue, okay, this is the slant height. It goes through the middle of the face on the slant, not down the straight middle, okay? When we get to the next one, you're going to see something different. But on this one, the slant is on the slanty side of the pyramid, right? If you were to stand on it, you'd slide down. So that slant height is 8.5. While we're here, let's figure out big B. Now, what's the shape of the base? A triangle, right? How do I find the area of a triangle? Mrs. Marrero doesn't think y'all know, but y'all are smart, and y'all do know. You just don't like to talk. So, you tell me, how do I find the area of a triangle? Multiply what? We don't need songs. So, somebody tell me. Okay, so we have the base times the height. Do we do anything else to it? Divide by 2. We already knew without a song. Great. Everybody, we did do this year, school year that is. And I'll remind you, you technically should have done it before this year, school year, right? So remember, triangle is base times height divided by 2. I will, when you take a test, make sure to put that on your formula chart, okay? But we're remembering right now, okay? We're going to recall good stuff. So base times height divided by 2. Now we'll do this in green. What's the base of the triangle? So the base is 10. The height of the triangle is 8.7. Okay, so 10 times 8.7, and then we have to divide it by 2. 10 times, that's a multiplication, 8.7 divided by 2. So let's do that. 10 times 8.7 divided by 2. And I'm going to hit Control Enter because it's a decimal. Okay? 43.5. Since I did it that way, now all I need to do is plug stuff in. So PL over 2. Let's do that. P is 30. L is 8.5. And then we just divide it by 2. 30 times 8.5 divided by 2. $127.5, and I do have units, kilometers, and it's going to be squared because we're talking about surface area, right? Now for total surface area, we're going to take that same thing we just got, PL over 2, plus big B. So this is actually just going to be, once we have B, it's easy, just add, right? So we're going to take that 127.5 for the PL over 2 plus big B, which we already got, 43.5. Okay. Literally, just add them. 127.5 plus 43.5, 171 kilometers squared. Okay? Cool. All right. Now, we have a square pyramid over here off to the right. Stay with me because we're almost done, okay? Square pyramid. Now, things I need to know are P, L, and B, right? So, P, the perimeter of the base. 6, 6, and 2 more 6s. What's the perimeter? 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, or 6 times 4, what do I get? 24. Now I need L, slant height. Who thinks slant height is 4? Because it's not. Okay? Does everyone see 4 straight up and down, perpendicular, right there? That's not slanty. Okay? So, I'll do this in red. Okay, this forms a right triangle right here. Okay, so right here, this is 4. On the bottom here is halfway across. What's half of 6? 3. And I'm missing my slant height. 3, 4, and slant height. That reminds me of something. Wait, hold up. I'm going to go to the first page. Go to the very bottom. Didn't we already figure out what happens when I have 3 and 4? And what's the hypotenuse going to be? Right? If you got 3 and 4, your hypotenuse is going to be 5. Okay? So, you could, if you were feeling like double checking yourself off to the side, you could do it once again. 3 squared plus 4 squared equals L squared. But I'm telling you, 5 is going to equal L because we did it on the front side. Okay? So Pythagorean theorem again. It's not always going to be a 3, 4, 5. Sometimes you're going to need to actually use the Pythagorean theorem. So don't forget how to do Pythagorean theorem. Okay. What else? Big B. Now how do I find the area of a square if each side is 6? Miss Ferrero doesn't think y'all know this, but y'all know this. How do I find area? What do I do with those 2 6s? Oh, what'd she say? What'd she say? Did you hear what she said? I heard it. She said multiply. Thank you so much. So 6 times 6 is 36. All right. See? I was so smart. I was just tired. All right. Next one. I want to do the formula. LSA equals PL over 2. So, perimeter 24 times 5, and then divided by 2. Okay, you should get 60 feet squared. Some mental math. And then for total surface area, you're going to do PL over 2 plus B. So we're just going to take that PL over 2, the 60, plus B, which is 36. What's 60 plus 36? Straight up 96. And once again, it's feet squared. Okay? So that is cones and pyramids. I think the hardest thing about it is that you need to make sure you know what L is, slant height. Big B is still area of the base. P, capital P, is also still perimeter of the base. And yeah, so we're going to use all this stuff to do this assignment. I'm passing it out. It's assignment surface area of pyramids and cones. Kind of like the last one. You're doing 4, but you're doing pyramids and cones. Okay, so when you get this, go ahead and get started. Get it done ASAP. And don't forget, it's Friday the 13th. Woo!